And back into it we go. Season 9 is officially underway with the start of this video. And we got to get it out of the way. The retired players screen. From what my initial view, I don't see any Montreal Canadiens on this list. At least immediately, I don't. Ilya Kovalchuk has now retired 8 seasons deep into the GM mode. As we are, again, like I said, we are afoot at Season 9. Taylor Pyatt, Vermette retires with the Penguins. Hamuse, Weiss, Hemsky was on our team for 1 season. He was a trade deadline acquisition just to try something. I believe we missed the playoffs the year that we had Hemsky. Patrick Sharp, I called it. So he was 39 years old this past season. We faced the Blues in the final. Sharp gave it one last go. I told you in that series, Sharp was probably going to retire, give it one last go at the championship. Just that little bit short, falling off in a Game 6 that was on the verge of an overtime and about to push a Game 7. UC Okinen, the Juice, has retired. Brooks Laich, Derek Roy, Dennis Wideman. Was he on our team? I thought we had Wideman on our team. That could have been in Calgary as well. That could have been that GM mode. Corey Perry was on that Flames team in that GM mode that I did. He is retiring as a Duck. Palmenville, McCulloch. The names just keep coming off the board. I'm just going to keep scrolling down because I could spend forever on all of this. Only if we see a name. Lupul's finally retired. So Lupul cannot haunt my team in the playoffs any longer. He has retired after 1,105 games. A little more than 1,000 games played in his career, and quite a career it was for Mr. Lupul. Clark MacArthur, Giordano. So there goes Giordano from the Calgary Flames. The question for me is, Johnny Gaudreau going to get his number? What does he wear? Number 9. He's wearing. What does John 13? Why did I think it was 19? I think he's wearing 16 and has worn 19, but he hasn't taken his number 13 yet because I don't know why. Well, Camilleri retired, didn't he? Didn't Camilleri leave the Flames? So he should have that number available to him, and he's not taking it for some reason with that Calgary Flames team. So that's all the retired players. There's a Canadian there, Holzer, but he was playing in the AHL, so it's really not much of a loss. We haven't really lost, I believe, anybody to retirement so far. We don't have that old of a team, but we do have an aging, more experienced team. Goalies retired, sort by games played. Fleury calls it a career. Flower is gone. So, like I said, I mean, you can just see the names. Mike Smith is a guy that dominates these GM modes as well. He just tends to dominate. Halak retires after that final run with the Blues as well. Fast with the Anaheim Ducks. So it's like I said, you get to this point in the career mode, the GM mode, whatever it is, and the notable names start falling off the board with retirements the deeper you go, and now they're going to be replaced by created players by the game. And the created players by the game are just kind of decent for the most part. There's very rarely any gem-type players created by the game in this game, in NHL 14. So as we go deeper, and I do plan to go a bit deeper because I have created players that I made that I want to see how their career progresses. So we are not done by a long shot for the Canadiens GM mode, and I want to see how those guys grow. But don't expect to see any of the created players by the game wow you or do anything of that nature. Speaking of those created players, it's time to begin the NHL entry draft. First of all, let's take stock of the draft order. We do have a first-round pick. Does anybody have multiple picks in the first round? I'm seeing the Islanders have 2 picks in this first round here, but it looks like aside from that, everybody mostly has a pick in the first round for the entire league. So picks have not really been traded. I could look, I've got an idea. Okay, I have a very wild proposal that I think the Oilers turned down here because they just signed Taylor Hall to a big-time deal, and I'm sending them an older player here in Brad Marchand. I think for Hall, you'd rather get a really good prospect back. This is a tough call for me because I want to show something before I let this go through. we do have a prospect that could be very appealing to the Edmonton Oilers by the name of Lucas Voivoda. If I'm the Oilers, see, the thing for me is Voivoda is going to replace like Lars Eller basically on my bottom six is the way that I see it. I need that bottom six replacement in Voivoda. He's still on that friendly ELC deal. He's 23 years young. The potential is through the roof. And he's a 75 overall right now. Who knows what he grows into? He is a grinder, but this is a kid I want to keep around. I don't want to trade Voivoda. The Oilers are obviously, if you see his name is highlighted in green, so they want him. The value is okay, but it's nowhere near any of these other guys where the trade value is sky high. I mean, right now, Duchesne, Hedman in their prime. Subban maybe a little outside of his prime. Same for Pacioretty. Severson is stepping right into his prime. I mean, Severson is a perfect claim off waivers. He's an 87 overall. LeBlanc, who was already here when the GM mode started, you could potentially look at trading LeBlanc for... How old is LeBlanc? I thought he was 30. He is 30. So, I mean, LeBlanc could be a player we could trade to get... Well, I got to look at LeBlanc's regular season. 28 goals, 59 points in 73 games. I mean, he doesn't score as much as he really should. Right? He's been the backdoor tap-in master in the playoffs for this squad. I could see moving LeBlanc. But right now, I want the player that I think is the odd man out for this core group of players that's been part of this success the team has had is Brad Marchand at 33 years old. It's only downhill from here for Marchand. He's got 2 years left, 5.2. I'm even retaining 1.1 million on this potential deal. I think the Oilers reject this is the bottom line. There's the potential for Marchand. It's a 4 white star potential. I'll show the stats as well for Brad. Consistent 20 goal scorer in 82 games, 44 points, but the total's just not quite high enough for a guy that's been playing not just in my top 6, but on my first line. I'll show Taylor Hall just for the sake of showing Hall's stats. He just signed a deal with the Oilers last offseason, 8 years, 7.270. Big contract. Now this would free up money for Edmonton. They did not make the playoffs as well. They missed the playoffs. Hall knows how to score them. He can score 30 easily, and that is valuable for this team. The last time in the playoffs, 13 games played, 6 goals. Last time he had a playoff appearance. I'm giving up Marchand a proposal. They want Marchand, a first this year, the 30th overall, a first in 2 years' time, and a 2021, this year's third, 90th overall pick. I think the Oilers reject it, plus salary retained. A couple of other comparisons. The trade value is at the bottom of the screen there. Trade value of Marchand compared to Hall. Trade value of the first for this year. Trade value of the first in a couple of years' time, and the third. It's not enough. There's no way it's enough. But we're going to try it. I close my eyes. Does it work? I figured the Oilers did not like that because of the trade block. So I'm going to come back to the Edmonton Oilers with another proposal. Okay, I'm going to make this proposal. I think that this is a clear-cut upgrade in my mind. Louis LeBlanc, one more look at the player. He has 5 years left at a little less AAV than Taylor Hall. He's at 30 years young. So there's not much difference between LeBlanc and Hall in terms of the age, but there's a difference in terms of the player. Now, LeBlanc's coming off a season. His stock is high. He had a 28-goal, 59-point season, plus 20 in the plus-minus. I could see the Oilers being very interested in LeBlanc. Could I interest you in a LeBlanc? I don't know that the Oilers would trade Taylor Hall. I'm kind of starting to think realistically, would the Oilers trade a corner... Sorry, I didn't mean to pull that up. Would they trade a cornerstone piece of their organization at 29 years young? I just don't know that I would see it. But, LeBlanc is just as good of a player. He's just as good as producing. He can play center for the team. I don't know. This is the problem for me as I jumped into the draft. I don't know what the Oilers' needs are, but they do want Louis LeBlanc, and they want the third. I'm trying to meet them on a trade block front here. I could hit execute trade. I just don't know that the Oilers would do this. You know what? I gotta do this, and I have a good reputation with St. Louis. I took the Taylor Hall trade off the table because realistically, I don't think the Oilers would trade that. They just signed him to a long-term deal. They wouldn't trade that player. Now, what about the Blues? We just played them in the Cup final. I could see St. Louis wanting a bit of a retool and a reapproach to the way they do things after losing in the Cup final. You got Vlad Tarasenko, 1 year remaining, $5.6 million. Now, his regular season stats, not amazing. So he hasn't really been a proven 30-goal scorer in the GM mode. But he just had a legendary playoff run. Look at this. 15 goals in 22 games. I mean, he turned it on in that postseason. A big part of the catalyst for getting the Blues to the Cup final. I showed Marchand, but I'll show Marchand again. He's 33, has 2 years left as opposed to the 1 remaining for Vlad Tarasenko. You would save a little bit of money, right? Whereas the AAV, I think, is actually pretty similar between the two players. But the point is, Marchand at 85 overall is doing exactly what Vlad Tarasenko is doing. He is a little bit older than Tarasenko. The money is very close. Tarasenko is slightly more expensive. But I'm going to give up a first and this year's third to get Tarasenko. I don't know if the Blues do this. Let me look at the trade value between the two. There's no way the Blues would do this. It's not even close on the trade value. But hey, for the fun of it, let's just see what happens if I say execute trade. There's no way the Blues, they're not willing to part ways. McDavid has maxed out. I mean, this doesn't surprise me. McDavid with maxed out trade value. Look at this. 96 overall, age 24 season, maxed out. You're not going to get McDavid out of Vancouver. Marchand for Simmons. This is just moving on from Marchand. He's 33, 2 years left. We've seen the whole contract situation just to review it. Wayne Simmons, 32 years old. He's played over 1,000 games. He's got 3 years left at 4.885. He has not scored 30 goals in his career, but man, he can kind of, let's look at the attributes. I mean, he can kind of do a little bit of everything. I like that about Wayne Simmons. There's a comparison of Simmons, and here is Marchand's attributes one more time. I mean, they both kind of fit each category well enough, and if we can't make a trade go through here, it's actually league approved. That's the main thing. I was going to try to get Barkov out of Florida, by the way. That's what I was going to do, is trade Marchand to Florida to get Barkov, because Barkov his trade value is pretty low, and he's just an 85 overall for some reason in this game. So that's a player that I need to edit in the future. It wouldn't be league approved. The Marchand for Barkov trade would not have been league approved. The Simmons trade is, will the Flyers accept Marchand first, third for Wayne Simmons? They don't like. It's just a little out of touch. It actually meets their needs, but I'll need to sweeten it. Well, I don't really have any other assets, so I'm shutting down the phones. There's going to be no Wayne Simmons here. We're just going to go into the draft. I wanted to trade this pick because at this point in the GM mode, I mean, I can take a picture of these players and we can take a look at all of these names that went in the top 7 and see if they're good players or could potentially be good players. But I don't think you're finding anything, especially at 30th overall. Well, what did my scouts... You know what? Niedermeyer could be an interesting one, maybe. What did my scouts uncover? We did a lot of scouting. I have like a highest level scout now for the juniors. So for scouting juniors. And it's saying that Harold is pretty much the best potential player remaining. I mean, I think at this point you just take best potential, best available player. If anything, the person that you take here with this pick could be a draft asset, a trade asset. That's what I meant to say. It's a question of picking the right player. Wade Niedermeyer, defenseman out of Canada. So we're looking at a right wing, a center, and a defenseman, all with some size as well. These are all 6 feet and above, 200 plus pounds. So they're big players. Is there any value in that grinder out of Russia? It's a tough call. I don't know who the best player is. I feel like it's Niedermeyer, and he's projected to go in the second round. These guys above him are projected to go second, third round, and then the potential just drops off from here. But maybe we didn't scout these guys as much. Out of curiosity, how many times did we scout Howard Spooner? We had 3 or more visits, so I guess our scouts have a good read on him, but I'm going to take Niedermeyer. So it's Wade Niedermeyer, 20-year-old out of Canada, is the guy that we take. Carolina has our 30th pick of the second round, so we will not have a pick here. And at this point, you can just... I mean, I can just basically simulate from here on in. And that is it for the Season 9 draft in reverse order from round 7 going backwards. There's round 7. We took Westcott, McCulloch. The computer drafted that for me in round 6. Round 5, Zajac. Round 4, we didn't have a pick. Carolina had that pick as well from us. Pettinen in round 3. That was my pick. I picked that player. He was projected to be undrafted, so I'm curious to see how he turns out as a potential player. Round 2, we didn't have a pick there, but we did have our first round pick. And then I need to take a picture with my phone so we can review the top 7 as well as our pick at 30th overall. So Wade Niedermeyer is just, he's okay. He's an okay player, 20 years old. That was the thing with him is there's age, and he's not very good already. At 20 years old, it doesn't bode very well for Niedermeyer going forward. Oh, they was Cody Mole. When did we draft him? Pettinen was an off the board pick. Yeah, there's just nothing. We don't have anything in the pipeline. That's why we've been competing for Stanley Cups. We got nothing really in the pipeline. I mean, we do. We have some players like Kujawinski could grow a little bit more. And in fact, I've got to tender him a new contract in this offseason. Leon Draisaitl, he slowly keeps growing. I mean, he's a red 4-star potential. I should have edited Draisaitl so he was better than he actually is here. Ned Garrison, first overall pick in the Season 9 draft, also 20 years old, 67 overall. First overall pick of the 2021 draft, the Season 9 draft for Green Star potential. Warren Odolin, 19 years old, second overall pick to the New Jersey Devils. There it is, 2021 second overall pick. Not really anything amazing there. The draft just is getting weaker as we go deeper into the GM mode here. Oh, I didn't realize Mikko Rantanen is with the New Jersey Devils now. Oh, this is not even fair. This is not fair. So Tampa Bay now has Drouin and Bluin on their team, and this guy, third overall pick in the draft, he is 20 years old. We're seeing a lot of older players go off the board, but this guy could be electric, and that's not a pun or anything, but he could be electric in Tampa Bay with the third overall pick. They really look like the winners out of this draft already, especially if this guy can get a huge boost. Now, 70 overall at 20 is not as impressive as 70 overall at, say, 18 or 19 years old. But, yeah, that's a stud right there. That's going to work out well. With Jonathan Drouin putting up beastly numbers every year, and he's just 26 years old. They've got Adam Ernie. They got Haydar. They got my goaltender that I put in. Is he still there? Is Kozak Nikitin still here, or did he move on? No, he's still here. Kozak Nikitin in the net. If he can just find that way to grow, he's 5 Red Star potential. He's just got to find a way to grow. Islanders get Peter Kendall. This is a great goaltender pick for the Islanders. 19 years old. Good potential on that player. It's in the upper right corner. It was there with the 4th overall pick in the 2021 draft out of the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, Czechia, whatever you want, whatever it is these days. Florida takes Russ Scheiman, 19 years old, 4 Gold Star potential with the 5th overall pick in the draft, 71 overall. At how old was he? 19 years old. Sisoyev to the Philadelphia Flyers. Yuri Sisoyev, grinder center, 57 overall at 19 years old, 4 Gold Star potential, taken at 6th overall in the draft. And Carolina takes Chuck Globke. What a last name, man. That's an epic name. Globke, the offensive defenseman, 64 overall at 19. Not terrible at 4 Gold Star. Could grow. He's definitely... This guy is projecting to me to be definitely a top 4D. Should be a top 4D if he grows correctly. So an updated look at the contract situation. Please put this in the video in editing. Vince, remember to put this in the video. Duchesne is expiring in 1 more season. So he's signed for the upcoming Season 9 season. But after that, he will expire. Same with Subban. We gave them the same term. I can't believe those contracts are already up for those players. Now, right now, Duchesne's a guaranteed lock. We're keeping him on board for as many seasons as possible until he could drop off a cliff for all I care, and I'd still keep him on because that's how much Matt Duchesne has meant to the organization. Subban has meant pretty much equally as much. Now with PK, he's still got that high potential at 32 years old. But believe me, 34 age 35 seasons are gonna arrive before we can blink our eyes. We looked at moving on from Marchand in potential trades at the draft, but it never actually materialized. He's got 1 year left. He's expiring after this upcoming season. We're going to keep Marchand on board, see where we're at, revisit at the trade deadline, and potentially dump Marchand if we're not good enough to make the playoffs. That would be an easy move for this organization to do. Polkinen is still here. So there you go. See, Monahan, expiring deal. Chalmerson expiring. So all the expiring deals, most of them for the most part, are very easily, we can easily bring these players back on very team-friendly contracts. So an updated look at the contract situation. Vovoda's still on the ELC. I love to see it, and he hopefully sees a big growth as we go through the summer. This is insane. Eller is the most coveted player on the free agent market, 32 years old, but this is the asking price for me. He wants almost $6 million. Now, yes, he's an 85 overall, and some teams would be thrilled to have that in their service on their team, but that's just crazy to me. To pay a guy $6 million for me, for my team, and the depth we have, he would be on the third line. I'm not paying you $6 million. There goes the battery notification. I'm not paying you that much money to play on my third line. We could get Drew LeBlanc to play alongside of, he would be a nice option as but I see it this way. Lucas Vovoda is the large Eller replacement. I don't even need to get a forward on this team. I really don't even need to get a forward on this team. That being said, I don't think it would hurt to look at some depth for my bottom six. I just don't know. I got to focus on goaltenders first. And I didn't know, are there any RFAs? There are no RFAs. How good is Ben Bishop's stats? Oh, hell yeah. Ben Bishop would be a fun one. Let's get Ben Bishop 1 year. All right, I'm going for Ben Bishop to be the backup. And it's not because he's necessarily amazing. He's 34 years old. But, we need a backup for Carey Price that can share the load when Price just needs a bit of a maintenance day. So I'm going to give Ben Bishop an offer and put that in the mail. I'm playing with just under $4 million in cap space. But I am going to go look at my potential depth options down here that I could sign in free agency for the bottom six forward group. Let's go for Hertl. All right, I'm gonna just drop this value just a little bit. I don't even care about the 80% rule or any of that stuff. I just want to drop the dollar value just a little bit below $2 million so I can save some money on Hertl. We'll give him a shot, and he can fit into our, let's see if he accepts it and fit into our lineup. I think we're easily going to add Ben Bishop, so let's just advance the day and see what any of my free agent contract offers, what any of these guys say in getting back to me about these potential deals. Ben Bishop accepted it. Hertl rejected it. So he feels I went down on the value a little too much. I got to go back to Hertl. Go back to Hertl. Well, there's one team interested. We're vying for the services of Hertl. Let's go down to $2 million even. Let's not bring it down too much. Let's just go down to $2 million even. Toronto's interested. Oh boy, the battle between Toronto and Montreal for the services of Tomas Hertl. Let's see if he accepts with that deal. I don't even know if I have the cap space. I do. I barely have the cap space. He's got to choose between Toronto and Montreal. Just make a choice and make the right one. He chose Toronto as well. Whatever. That's out the window now. I'm not getting Hertl. Now let's go with Mario Kempe. Let's go. I'm familiar with Kempe from the Flames GM mode. I'm willing to do that. Mario Kempe, $1.1 million for 1 year. That's certainly, he's going to sign that. Absolutely. He went with another team. Well, screw all these guys. They don't want to play for the 3-time defending Stanley Cup champion.